Good morning. I'm Nancy Owens-Hess, the Executive Director of the Elizabeth Stone House. I am thrilled to welcome you to the site of our new home, little windy, 1 Westminster Avenue in Roxbury. We're here to celebrate an important milestone in our journey. Our new building is by far the single biggest accomplishment that I have seen since coming to the Elizabeth Stone House 20 years ago. Actually, more than 20 years ago. Our organization has helped thousands of families since we started in 1974, but we have always been constrained by space. Our new home will allow us to make a much bigger difference in the lives of our families and the surrounding community. We could never have achieved it without the encouragement and support of our partners and our special guests here, Mayor Marty Walsh, Councillor Essaibi George, and Liz Malia, who's been coming to the Stone House for years. Every project needs a team. We are fortunate to have one of the strongest teams in town. From the Stone House Board of Directors, under the leadership of our president, Mary Ann Civitello, who woke up one morning having dreamed of a new home for us, to the indomitable Stone House staff on the front lines every day.
That's right.
To the architects, the Narrow Gate and Studio MLA, to the fantastic Delbrook JKS team and the their subcontractors, who under the leadership of Mike Fish are bringing this dream closer to reality every day. To our amazing finance partners, elected leaders and generous donors, TD Bank, Boston Private, CDAC, Children's Investment Fund, FHL Bank Boston, Massachusetts Department of Housing and Community Development, Massachusetts Department of Early Education and Care, Massachusetts Housing Investment Corporation, Boston Planning and Development Agency, the City of Boston Department of Neighborhood Development, and of course our partners, the Women's Institute for Housing and Economic Development. What a list. Halloween is a big deal at the Elizabeth Stone House. Our kids all get dressed up in costumes and go trick-or-treating from office to office. It's complete chaos, but it's one of the best events of our year. Since Halloween is next week, I just can't help myself. I'm standing here imagining all of you in superhero costumes. You are heroes to us. You are the reason we're gathered to get to celebrate our progress. Without your heroic efforts, we wouldn't be here to sign the final steel beam on our new home. As unbelievable as it sounds, the Boston Police Department made almost 19,000 service calls related to domestic violence last year. And even more unbelievable, there is evidence that only 1 incident in 4 is reported. You do the math. The long-term consequences are devastating, not just to the adults, but especially to the children. Yet today's events are all about hope. We are telling our community and the world at large that the Elizabeth Stone House and every individual, every organization represented here today is absolutely committed to ending that devastation. Today we take a huge step forward towards achieving that goal. When we open the doors to our new home next year, we will welcome families who need us to a refuge with 32 units of affordable rental housing, a child care center on site, and space for counseling, support services, and community programming. It's fair to say that from the beginning of this project, one person in particular has stood out. Mayor Marty Walsh was an unwavering champion for the Stone House, even before he was elected mayor. As mayor, he has invested his time and talents and those of many city department leaders to see this project through. We are so grateful for his support. I am pleased to welcome our friend and champion, Mayor Marty Walsh, to the podium this morning.
Thank you, Nancy. I want to thank you, Nancy. I want to thank the board, everyone at Elizabeth Stonehouse. Thank you for what you do. My involvement with Elizabeth Stonehouse is pretty simple. There's a guy in my neighborhood. His name was Joe Chasen, and he told me his niece worked for the Elizabeth Stonehouse, and he said, you have to help them. It was, I think, before I was the mayor, and I started to come over, and then when I became the mayor, Joe would call me and say, and I had met his niece Marianne, and there was no way around me not helping. And I want to thank Marianne, who's here, Marianne Chasen, and Joe, who's looking down on us today, for. If you knew Joe Chasen, Anissa knows Joe Chasen because she was part of the Civic Association. He was a guy you couldn't say no to. And he wouldn't ask you anything. He would just tell you to do something, and you had to do it. It's so exciting to be here today. I want to thank the elected officials as well. State Representative Liz Malia, who goes back with the Stonehouse, Elizabeth Stonehouse, a long, long way, and City Councillor Essaibi George, who has focused her career in a lot of ways on young people and families, and what we're doing here today fits right in with what she does. So thank you. To all the partners that are here, I know they were already mentioned, but thank you very much. Mass Housing Investment Corp. And the Women's Institute for Housing and Economic Development, and the city and everyone else that was here. Thank you for what you do. Nancy talked about this. Everyone deserves a safe place to live and a place to call home. Every single person. It's fundamental to our well-being. That's one of the things that gets stolen by predators of domestic violence. What should be a safe haven becomes a place of trauma, fear, and nowhere to escape from. There's a lot to rebuild and restore that safe haven. Law enforcement and justice, safety and protection, financial rebuilding and job training, child care, counseling for kids, and making sure that people feel safe and women feel safe, healing and therapy. The Elizabeth Stonehouse makes all of that possible. We break a lot of grounds in Boston, and we go to a lot of buildings, and I'm downtown a lot, and I talk about this great building's going to house 2,000 employees, and people are going to make all kinds of money. I go to another building. This building's going to house 400 residents, and it's in the middle of the heart of Boston. This is a new 5-star hotel that we're doing. All these great things that we do around the city of Boston to grow our city. But today is really probably the most important, because what we're building here is a home, a place to be safe, a place to heal, a place to be home again. 32 units of housing connected with new space for all incredible people and services to help those people get back on their life, get back on their feet. These will be homes designed to rebuild a sense of being at home. Domestic violence, as Nancy said, is far too common. In 2018, as she said, the Boston Police Department reported making 19,000 service calls for domestic violence incidents. Out of those calls, nearly half were in neighborhoods that will be served in this new facility. The Elizabeth Stonehouse saves lives, and it's soon going to be able to save more lives. I think we should thank the people that are here today, that work with the people who work for Elizabeth Stonehouse. Please raise your hands. We should thank you. Our goal in the city with Liz Malia and Anissa is to support survivors and ultimately to end domestic violence. The Boston Public Health Commission, the Family Justice Center works with the Boston Police Department and the District Attorney's Office, with organizations like the Elizabeth Stonehouse, to coordinate services. All of our departments, from women's advancements to neighborhood development, are committed to partner as well. We are proud to provide $2.1 million grant as part of the financing package for the facilities. We've created over 6,000 affordable subsidized housing units under our housing plan. These 32 units as I said earlier, more special, because they come with so much support that they need to make and deserve, so people can understand and help and know that we love them all. I want to thank the Elizabeth Stone House and all the partners and the dedications for their dedication. I want to thank the board. When I met with Mary Ann, I think it was 7 years ago, this was a dream. This was a dream, and I thought to myself, well, this dream will happen. I'm just not sure when it's going to happen. Yeah. And I can't tell you, I don't know all the board of directors, but I know that there's probably no more dedicated board of people than this board, because you dug in, you fought hard, and this beautiful building that's being built behind me is because of you and the people that you represent on that board. So I want to thank everyone for being here today. I want to thank you all. I want you all to know we are committed to supporting people, women of domestic violence and people of domestic violence for as long as it takes, in whatever way is necessary. So thank you very much in this exciting day here in the city of Boston.
Thank you, Mayor Walsh, for your continued commitment to this project. And thank you all for joining us on a Monday morning and for your continued support for the neighbors we serve. As we close, I want to draw your attention to another important symbol. You may have noticed this tree. There are many stories explaining why buildings under construction get topped with trees. To the Vikings and other Northern European, the tree signified completion. Placing a tree on top of a building meant it's time to celebrate. Some tales attribute the ritual to Native Americans, who believe that no structure should be taller than a tree. Whatever their origins, today this tree signifies that the steel framing is complete and expresses a wish for continued good luck for the project, its builders, and for its eventual occupants. And like this tree, Elizabeth Stone House celebrates new growth, environmental consciousness, safety, and progress for the building team. Most importantly, we wish for continued strength for our organization and for the thousands of families who will benefit from this new home. I thank you all for being with us on this journey to safety and wellness for the thousands of folks we serve. And I invite you to sign our steel beam. I'm going to ask Mayor Walsh to start us off, but as each of you signs, I invite you after that to head over to the Boston Network, Neighborhood Network, where we will be enjoying some cookies and fruit donated by our new friends from Boston, Encore Boston Harbor. Thank you so much.